White Shadow, Legend of the Great White. Out here, beyond the shoreline where sunlight fades into the deep, something ancient glides through the blue. It is the perfect paradox, grace and terror, beauty and raw power, all wrapped in one living legend. Meet the great white shark, also known as Carcharodon carcharias. For centuries, this magnificent predator has haunted the imagination of sailors, scientists, and storytellers alike. But behind the myths and movie monsters lies a creature far more fascinating than fiction ever dared to imagine. The king of the ocean. Picture this: a torpedo of pure muscle, over 20 feet long and weighing up to 5,000 pounds. Its sleek body, hydrodynamic and finely tuned, can slice through the sea at speeds of over 35 miles per hour. Its crescent-shaped tail is like an engine of living steel, propelling it through the water with breathtaking precision. Each part of the great white's anatomy is a masterpiece of natural engineering. Its dermal denticles, tiny, tooth-like scales, reduce drag and noise, making it almost silent. Its coloration is an optical illusion called countershading, dark gray above, blending into the depths when seen from above, and bright white below, camouflaged against the light from the surface. This design allows the shark to vanish into the ocean, a ghost that becomes one with its surroundings. The perfect hunter. When a great white hunts, it doesn't rely on luck. It relies on a symphony of senses so advanced that they border on the supernatural. It can detect a single drop of blood in 25 million drops of seawater. It can sense the vibration of a wounded fish from 2 miles away. And thanks to specialized pores called the ampullae of Lorenzini, it can even detect the faint electrical pulses of a beating heart. Imagine that, an animal that can feel life itself. Its eyes, often described as black mirrors, are not soulless voids. They are windows into a complex, calculating brain. Recent research shows that great whites possess problem-solving abilities and even individual personalities. Some are bold and curious, others cautious and methodical. They can adapt their hunting strategies depending on location, prey, and even time of day. This isn't a creature of instinct alone, it's a predator that learns. The art of the hunt. At Seal Island, off the coast of South Africa, the drama of the great white unfolds in one of nature's most astonishing spectacles, the breach. Below the surface, the shark circles patiently, tracking a seal's path. Then, with a sudden explosion of energy, it launches from the depths at more than 30 miles per hour, its entire 2-ton body erupting from the ocean in a burst of spray and sunlight. It's nature's most powerful ambush, over in seconds, but unforgettable to witness. The shark's jaws close with a force of nearly 2 tons per square inch, enough to crush bone and shear through thick blubber. Yet, it's not chaos, it's strategy. The great white often uses a bite and release tactic. It strikes once, crippling the prey, then withdraws. As the wounded animal weakens, the shark circles back, avoiding injury and conserving energy. This method shows intelligence, patience, and precision, traits rarely associated with what many still call a mindless killer. Misunderstood giants. For decades, humans have viewed sharks through a lens of fear. Movies like Jaws cemented the image of a bloodthirsty monster that targets people. But science tells a very different story. On average, there are fewer than 10 unprovoked great white attacks on humans worldwide each year, and most aren't fatal. Compare that to the number of sharks killed by humans, over 100 million annually, often for their fins or due to bycatch. In this tragic equation, the real monster isn't the shark, it's us. Humans are not on the great white's menu. We don't have the fat or calorie density they need. Most attacks are simply cases of mistaken identity. From below, a surfer paddling on a board looks remarkably like a seal silhouetted against the sun. When the shark realizes its mistake, it lets go. That's why most bite victims survive. The shark never intended to eat them. They're curious, not cruel. Explorers of the unknown. Face-to-face encounters. Today, more people are meeting great whites up close than ever before, and safely. Cage diving operations in South Africa, Mexico's Guadalupe Island, and Australia's Neptune Islands allow divers to share the water with these giants. And when that shadow appears in the blue, gliding closer and closer, you understand, this is not a monster. It's a marvel. They don't attack the cages mindlessly. They investigate. They circle, observe, sometimes nudge, using electroreceptors in their snouts to taste the metal. Every movement is measured, deliberate, intelligent. Photographers describe the moment as life-changing. The instant they lock eyes with the great white, everything they thought they knew about sharks dissolves. It's not fear that fills you, it's awe. These encounters have revolutionized science. Biologists now identify individual sharks by their unique fin notches and scars, tracking their migrations across oceans. Some great whites have been recorded traveling from South Africa to Australia, nearly 12,000 miles round trip, and returning to the exact same locations years later. The social side of sharks. For a long time, scientists believed great whites were solitary wanderers. But new evidence paints a more complex picture. In rich feeding zones, they display social hierarchies, with dominant individuals feeding first and smaller sharks waiting their turn. They even show signs of cooperation, traveling in loose groups or forming temporary alliances. Sharks communicate through body language, a slow roll, a lifted snout, a sideways glide. Each gesture conveys intent, warning, curiosity, or dominance. And yes, they recognize one another. Tagging studies suggest that the same sharks often reunite seasonally, suggesting social memory and long-term relationships. Life in motion. From birth, the great white's life is a gauntlet of survival. Pups, about 1.5 meters long, are born fully formed and must fend for themselves immediately, even avoiding their own mother, who might see them as prey. They grow slowly, taking up to 15 years to reach maturity. Females can give birth to up to 14 pups after an 11-month gestation period, one of the longest among sharks. And yet, the breeding grounds of great whites remain one of the ocean's most elusive secrets. Even with all our technology, we have never witnessed great whites mating or giving birth in the wild. It's one of marine biology's last great mysteries. Adult great whites are known to live 70 years or more, possibly even longer. They migrate thousands of miles, guided by the Earth's magnetic fields, returning to the same hunting grounds year after year. It's a life of endurance, adaptation, and eternal movement. Enemies of the apex. Few creatures can challenge the great white, but there is one, the orca. Orcas have been observed killing great whites with surgical precision, targeting their livers, a fatty, nutrient-rich organ. When orcas enter a region, great whites often flee, sometimes abandoning prime feeding grounds for months. But the greatest threat of all isn't another predator, it's humanity. Industrial fishing, pollution, and habitat destruction have taken a devastating toll. Great whites are now listed as vulnerable by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN. Millions are caught accidentally each year in fishing nets. Others are hunted for their jaws, teeth, or fins. Plastic pollution and declining fish stocks make their survival harder with each passing decade. The new age of discovery. Yet there's hope and innovation. Modern science is unlocking secrets that could protect the great white for generations to come. New satellite tags, smaller than a smartphone, transmit data about depth, temperature, and movement, revealing where these sharks travel and why. Some tags even carry cameras, offering a shark's eye view of the ocean. Environmental DNA, tiny genetic traces left behind in the water, is helping scientists identify shark habitats without ever needing to catch or disturb the animals. Each discovery brings us closer to understanding how to protect them. And as climate change alters ocean temperatures and currents, studying the great white becomes vital for predicting how marine ecosystems will respond. Because when the great white thrives, the ocean thrives. The guardian of the deep. The great white shark has been swimming Earth's oceans for over 60 million years. It survived ice ages, asteroid impacts, and planetary upheavals. It is a living relic of deep time, proof that nature, when left to its own design, creates perfection. But now, its future depends on us. By supporting shark conservation, reducing plastic waste, and promoting sustainable fishing, we can ensure that the white shadow continues to glide through the blue for centuries to come. When you see a great white, you're not seeing a monster. You're seeing evolution's greatest success story, an animal that keeps the ocean alive. So, Next time you think of that dark fin cutting the surface, don't hear the soundtrack of fear. Hear the heartbeat of the planet itself, steady, eternal, wild. Because the great white shark isn't the villain of the ocean. It's the guardian of its balance, the keeper of its mysteries, and the symbol of its untamed beauty. This is the real story of the great white shark, timeless, thrilling, and utterly extraordinary.